adoration kindles space itself, leaving no void that is not compassed by his passion. Here's another one from St. Crowley. He said, "Redemption is a bad word, it implies a debt, for every star possesses boundless wealth. The only proper way to deal with the ignorant is to bring them to the knowledge of their starry heritage. To do this, it is necessary to behave as must be done in order to get on good terms with animals and children, to treat them with absolute respect, even in a certain sense with worship." This is why the caricature of Crowley was meticulously imbued with every personality trait anyone and everyone would hate and fear, as well as every personality trait everyone would love. He's practically a fictional character. That's an old tradition in the order, picking one person to be a living pseudonym for the whole order, and various aspects of how their life story is presented convey layers of hidden messages. You can read about this tradition of the Vox Populi in the 1700s documents translated into English by Jeva Singh Anand and published as The Secret School of Wisdom by Louis Masonic. Much to the amusement of people in the know, endless effort goes into the research of the life of this enigmatic character to this day, and we honestly don't know how much of his story is true. We know enough to know some of it is, but he was certainly a real individual, raised in a scholarly Christian upbringing in which he developed a great capacity to poetically condense vast amounts of information into a finely crafted literary style. Most of the literature published during his life was filtered through his interpretive prose, but as a character he remains a carefully concatenated series of riddles representing what we must all realize in ourselves and each other, that on this plane of existence we and everyone, from those we fear and loathe most to those we adore most, that within all of us are all the devils and all the gods we can imagine. It seems that the more we adore anyone, the more likely the things we dislike are to come out of them eventually, and that the more we despise someone, the more likely their hidden holiness is eventually to put us to shame. And we have to realize this about ourselves as well, not to put ourselves on a pedestal in such high esteem that we ignore our shadow natures, nor to focus only on our darkness and not recognize our divine nature. We must all learn to allow our positive natures to shine. As a famous quote said, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us." We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We're born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it is in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fears, our presence automatically liberates others. I used to say, though, with some people, you need to sort of bitch slap them to say namaste. I acknowledge the divinity within you, and you ain't showing it for shit. Don't take any guff from anybody who's hurting and killing anyone else. Acknowledge that everyone's essential nature is divine, but although we all exude it in childhood, it's often beaten out of us by the machinations of society. Don't take any shit from anyone just because God dwells at the seat of their soul. Here's a quote from St. Crowley on that subject. He said, "I am certainly of opinion that genius can be acquired, or in the alternative, that it is an almost universal possession. Its rarity may be attributed to the crushing influence of a corrupted society. It's rare to meet a youth without high ideals, generous thoughts, a sense of holiness, of his own importance, which being interpreted is of his or her own identity with God. 3 years in the world and he's a bank clerk or even government official. Only those who intuitively understand from early childhood that they must stand out and who have the incredible courage and endurance to do so in the face of all that tyranny, callousness, and the scorn of inferiors can do, only these arrive at adulthood uncontaminated. It is a hero's task in a society like this to love literally everyone, let alone learn to worship the divinity within literally everyone. Perhaps that's why the quote-unquote polytheistic traditions have finally become so appealing to the younger generations. They portray God as the complex being that we are, flawed, conflicting with him/herself, both sexually promiscuous and chaste, both infinite and finite, aspects of God that can die like we do, cry like we do, long for love like we do, and exhibit all of the characteristics of everyone we love and hate. Through the alchemical imagery of the old traditions, we have a map of God that relates to our experiences with others in relation to our experiences with him. And perhaps such maps can guide us to that final punchline of all spiritual paths together. Bhakti Yoga, which is the worship of the many aspects of God through the creative crafts of visual art, song, poetry, theater, and other artistic implements, can seem strange to many in the West. For adherents to the Abrahamic traditions of transcending the icon, image, or idol, it can be difficult to accept these artistic traditions. Swami Vivekananda made a good illustration. When the Maharaj of Alwar, Mangal Singh, ridiculed the worship of images, in response to this, he asked the Prime Minister to take down the painting of the Maharaj hanging upon the wall and spit upon it right in front of the Maharaj. Everyone present was horrified. Swami Vivekananda said that though the picture was not the Maharaj himself in flesh and blood, it reminds everyone of his person, and thus was held in high respect, and that likewise holy images bring to a devotee's mind the presence of God and are therefore helpful for concentration and prayer, especially at the beginning